Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table we're going to be talking Inspire 1, but specifically we're going to be talking about the app that you use on your smart device to control and liaise with the Inspire 1. I've loaded it up onto my Nexus 7 tablet and there's some things I'd like to show you and to discuss. But before we go into that, obviously we're at the kitchen table, and as is tradition on this channel, we have to have a little beverage to help us think about our multi-rotor stuff. Today is a very nice red from the Huelva region of Spain. It's a Syrah Garnacha blend from Dehesa de Quijana, which is probably an incredibly bad pronunciation. But anyway, back to Spain. Cheers. So yes, so I've loaded up the Inspire 1 app. Now, sadly, of course, I don't have an Inspire 1 to show the full features of, but there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to show you the app, and also I'll put in the description down there, on if you're watching on your PC, I'll put the link to where you can go on your mobile device to have a look at it as well. The reason I want to talk about it is, one, I think it's an incredibly well-designed app. It really does look and feel stunning. That's point one. Point two, I am hopeful and have suspicions that some of the features that this app for the Inspire 1 allows you to do, I really hope that the next generation of Phantom, whenever it makes its appearance, is going to use some of these features, because I think they're pretty exciting. So we'll change to a little bit of a close-up of the screen in a second, and you can come and have a look at what I've seen. So as I said, here's the it's a 2013 Nexus 7, and the app, as you can see, is called DJI Pilot. So, would you like to connect the app to the internet to fetch the latest firmware? Well, I'm not going to do that now because I don't have an Inspire 1 attached. Now, when you first load this up, it asks, one of the things it asks you for is the serial number of your aircraft. I don't have one, so I can't access some of the features. So, for example, there's no flight simulator because that obviously needs to be an active connection. And you'll see, but the, marketing department and everyone's gone to town. I don't know if you can see there, but as I'm moving around, you get that sort of floating 3D effect with the graphics floating above the picture. It's all very swish. So you've got various bits and pieces here. So you've got under the user center, you're going to have your photo albums. If you hit here, what's really interesting is you've got flight records. So a full log, basically. Date, location, mileage, time, max height, capture, video, a little thing for you to put all the bits and pieces, which is a very cool feature. The other thing you've got here is your personal details. So you've got, and I'll just obscure that a little bit. So you've got your username, region, gender, email, your aircraft, and your pilot level, which currently is junior, which makes sense because I haven't actually flown anything. What else you got? Academy. Now this is where you'd find your flight simulator, but again, I haven't got a aircraft to link to, so you won't get that. But you've got the quick start, the manuals, and some videos showing you how wonderful it all is. And then you've got two views really, which are the same effective screen, but one is mapped to the forefront with a small superimposed FPV view, and the other one is the other way around. So let's look at the one that most people will fly with, which is the camera view. So what you've got here is the main screen, and it looks not a million miles dissimilar to anybody who's been used to the Vision app. So we've got here's your always in the corner you've got a map on display of where you are. These are grayed out because of course we've got no aircraft, but this is your camera control here. We've got height, distance, vertical speed, horizontal speed, a radar style view that we'll be familiar with if you've got the Vision app. And then lots of other telemetry information, satellites, controller functions, battery information, and so on and so forth. And the fact that we're disconnected, obviously. And there's no SD card. There's no aircraft. If DJI would like to send me one, I'd be happy to receive one, obviously, to show you the full effect. But over here we've got H, which is the home point. And you can set, with buttons on the app, home point will be set to remote controller's position. It's going to fail because we're not attached. Or set it to the current aircraft position. Go. Bosh. Done. Instantly. One tap. There we are. New home point done. Would you like to return home and land? There's a bit of a slider and it will initiate a return to home, all from the app. This is an interesting one. How would you like your gimbal, sir? Would you like it in follow mode? Would you like it in FPV mode? Would you like it in free mode? Or would you like to center the camera? Again, all one touch stuff, very cool. And auto takeoff. The aircraft will go to an elevation of 3.9 feet and hover. Fantastic. So lots of stuff just one press away, which is excellent. Up here, obviously, we've got, let's take you back to the home screen, NA, not applicable for the mode. So here are the main controller settings. So what is the maximum altitude you can put in? Is there a distance limit to be set? Yes. Would you like a beginner mode? Interesting. So calibrate the compass, reset everything, unlock the motors, enter travel mode, exit travel mode. My understanding is that in travel mode, the arms go to a flat plane, so you can fit it in the case. All done by here. Would you like IOC? Yes, just enable it. There we go, it's all there. Advanced settings. Gains. All available, all can be altered. Again, as it says, only advanced users. If you don't know what the gains do, I would really suggest you don't go and mess about with them on your £2,500 new quad, to be honest. But for those of us who do or want to fiddle with them, some interesting ones as well. Advanced gain. Don't know what that is. Fail-safe mode, fully configurable with the return height, obviously. Again, we're sort of familiar with that. Sensors information, you can just, again, all from this app. No, I haven't yet seen any reason to plug the Inspire one into anything because it's all done through the app. IMU calibration, basic and advanced. All of the compass mod values, the acceleration, others, all available here and fed to you via the app, which is really, 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 really good. So what else have we got here? GPS doesn't do anything. Disconnected. Aircraft status, overall status. Here's the status page, which doesn't give us anything because we're not connected. But look, exit travel mode. Yes, please. You can do it all from here. Compass. It's telling us there's a problem, but that's because obviously it can't tell that what the compass is like. I haven't got it attached. But it would tell you here and diagnose what flight mode you're in. It would tell you. The battery is at 0%, the remote battery, the aircraft battery temperature, how much SD card capacity you've got left, all cool stuff. Let's just have a look at, can you touch any of these? No, this one here, remote controller. So again, look, from the app I can change the mode from mode 1 to mode 2, mode 3, or even mode 3, I didn't even know there was a mode 3, or even a completely custom mode, which is just, if you've got a particular use case, then that's pretty fantastic, isn't it? What else have we got over here? The remote. Would you like your remote to be the master or the slave? If it's the slave, you need a password. You can make sure that nobody else can come and take over and so on and so forth. So if you're using one as a control the gimbal and the camera, you've got the settings here. This starts to get interesting, and this is something I hope we see coming into the new generation of the more affordable consumer drones. Look at all the settings you can do from the app for the controller, or the transmitter, as I wish they'd call it properly. Gimbal wheel speed. So again, if you don't like how fast it's turning the camera, rather than you doing it manually, you just tell it here how fast to go. Calibration, you can do all your calibrations from here. Again, we're so used to with the Phantom plugging in and everything. This can be done in the field. Which is fantastic. Stick modes we've already shown. Separate switches. Do you want camera settings on it, or do you want reset gimbal or FPV to clear flight route? Do whatever. This looks like there's all sorts of customizable buttons. What was really interesting, look, is the expo curves on the throttle and the yaw. For those who don't know, expo is short for exponential, and basically if you imagine this was a graph with how much the stick moves here and how much the aircraft responds here, in a normal thing it would be a straight line. If you put 50% stick, then the aircraft moves will provide the same sort of input. What exponential does is allow you to change that curve. So what you can do is grab and push to different curves. So for the yaw here, what this means is that I'm going, say, 10-15% on my stick, but I'm getting a very tiny movement in reality from the aircraft, which means that, you know, you can tweak the sensitivity to mean that you could get some incredibly smooth, slow pans if you're doing it one-person operation. I wish we could get that on the Phantoms. That would be fantastic. And they've also got a throttle curve. That, to me, was a really interesting one, and I hope this technology does make its way to the next generation, because that would be excellent for those of us who prefer a smaller form factor but would like some sort of more subtle controls when we're flying. Image transmission settings. This is the light bridge part of it. We can choose what channel. We can then have a look at the quality of it and make sure there's no other interference. Choose the channel actually doing it on. Change the quality up in terms of the actual bit rate, I guess. Dual output. Would you like your HDMI output to have the on-screen display, so you have an overlay if you're recording it for that purposes, for an FPV thing? All this stuff is very exciting, and you know, I can now see why perhaps people who've had this to play with before seeing all this, why they were talking about the Inspire. You know, it's not just the hardware, it's, guys, I think it's this kind of system behind it. Battery stuff, look at all this. Okay, we've got 6 cells, but here you can change your critical battery warnings on the fly. Tells you your flight time on the battery, per battery, the voltage, remaining power, total capacity, temperature, each individual cell health. The time to discharge, you can actually tell it, do you know what, if I leave you on full charge, this is a very expensive battery, can you just discharge yourself after 2 days if I haven't been able to go out to fly? How cool is that? If it works, that's brilliant. And then over in the settings, you've got things like what units of measurement, would you like captions on, would you like to show a grid? So, you know, if you're doing your photography, there's a grid for doing getting your shots framed. Brilliant. So simple and yet really useful. Quick review, anti-flicker, so it changes between 50 and 60 Hertz, PAL, NTSC, etc, etc. Format the card, adjust the gimbal roll, do a gimbal calibration, have a look at the maps, show your flight route, clear your flight route. That was the other thing. If we go and go to the map mode, you can obviously just quickly swap between the two. In map view, I discovered there was one little extra switch here, this finger one, and what it does is it allows you to draw a kind of a boundary line. So that just gives you a little visual cue that maybe you want to keep within there. How brilliant. What a simple solution. Rather than sort of saying, oh, well, you know, we have to sort of stop people from flying over certain territory or whatever, then, you know, you all know the law in your country and what it says. So in my case, I want to keep clear of the town here. I can just draw this nice big blue line, and that will show me at all times here whether I'm close to it or not. Brilliant. So simple. So there we go. There are no doubt lots of things in here that I can't access because they're just not going to come up when we're not connected. But I just thought I'd show you that because as I said, I think it's beautifully designed. And I'm really hopeful that this kind of core technology transfers down to the more consumer end of their range in the next generation of Phantoms. I would be suspecting that it might, because you wouldn't put as much development time as they obviously have into this system and then just keep it for one. I would hope that we get some sort of, even if it's a cut down version with not everything on here, but just the ability to be able to now do, and it looked like there, because I've obviously put this into airplane mode for recording purposes, but it said, you know, I need to go onto the internet and check if there's any firmware. Gone are the days of having to plug in. So that was really interesting. I hope you'll agree. So there we go, just a little tour around it. As I say, if you look in the description down below, I'll put a link to the site that you have to navigate to on your device to go and have a play with it if you want yourself. So yeah, this isn't by any means an in-depth look at the app, as you can see. It's just a quick skim through, but to give you some idea. Go and play with it yourself. But I hope you'll agree with me that if we even get 50% of that onto the next generation of consumer level Phantom line, the Phantom 3, then I'm seriously tempted to sell a couple of children or something to get one. I'm still not tempted by the Inspire 1 at that price point, but that price point may well come down. I don't know. It's just very interesting, isn't it? They've got there seems to be the link between the app and the transmitter with the light bridge all seems to work very seamlessly, and I wouldn't have thought it would take too much shoehorning to put the features in there. Who knows? Anyway, just thought I'd show that for interest. Make of it as you will. I'm not, as I say, there's no predictions in that. It's just I really hope that we get some of that in the smaller form factor, because I think it will be fantastic. Anyway, there we go. That was it. Another video from the kitchen table. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Until then, cheers.